The night the old man collapsed, no one stopped. Cars rushed past. People glanced, slowed for a second, then kept walking. It was cold, the kind of cold that bites through your jacket and settles into your bones. He lay there on the sidewalk, his hands slightly raised, as if asking the world for just a moment of care, but the world kept moving. Until someone finally did stop. Before we begin, take a second to support stories that matter. If you believe kindness still exists in this world, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Welcome to Kind Truth Stories, where simple acts of humanity remind us who we really are. It started with a young woman named Emily. Emily wasn't having a good day. She had just finished a double shift at a small diner on the edge of town. Her feet ached, her back hurt, and her mind was full of worries: rent due next week, her mom's medical bills piling up, and the quiet fear that she was falling behind in life while everyone else seemed to be moving forward. She pulled her coat tighter as she walked toward the bus stop. That's when she saw him. At first, she thought he was just sleeping. An old man, maybe in his 70s, lying awkwardly near a bench. But something didn't feel right. People were passing by too quickly, avoiding eye contact. One man even stepped around him without a second glance. Emily slowed down. Her bus was coming in 5 minutes. If she missed it, she'd have to wait another 30 in the cold. She hesitated, glancing at her phone, then back at the man. And then she made a choice. She walked over. "Sir," she said gently, kneeling beside him. "Can you hear me?" No response. Her heart started racing. She reached out, lightly touching his shoulder. "Sir, are you okay?" Still nothing. Without thinking twice, Emily grabbed her phone and called 911. Her voice shook as she explained the situation, but she stayed calm enough to follow instructions. She checked his breathing. It was shallow but there. "It's going to be okay," she whispered, even though she didn't know if he could hear her. "Help is coming." She took off her scarf and gently placed it under his head. Then she held his hand. For the first time that day, Emily stopped thinking about her own problems. The ambulance arrived within minutes. The paramedics quickly assessed the man and lifted him onto a stretcher. One of them turned to Emily. "You may have saved his life," he said. Emily blinked. I couldn't leave him." They asked if she was family. She shook her head. "Just someone who stopped," she replied. As they loaded the ambulance, Emily realized something: her bus was gone. She sighed, watching the flashing lights disappear into the night. She was colder now. Tired. And stuck waiting. But something inside her felt different. Warmer. The next day, Emily couldn't stop thinking about the man. During her break at work, she called the hospital, unsure if they would even give her information. At first, they hesitated. But after she explained she was the one who called 911, the nurse softened. "He's stable," the nurse said. "You got him here just in time." Emily smiled, relief washing over her. "Can I visit him?" A pause. Then, "Yes. I think he'd like that." That evening, Emily took the bus to the hospital. The old man looked smaller in the hospital bed. Fragile. But awake. When she walked in, he turned his head slowly. "Hi," Emily said softly. I found you last night." His eyes filled with something she couldn't quite place: shock, maybe. Or gratitude. "You stayed," he said, his voice rough. "Of course," she replied. "Anyone would." He gave a faint smile. "No, they didn't." The room fell quiet. His name was Walter. Over the next hour, he told her pieces of his story. He used to be a teacher. History, mostly. He had a wife once, but she passed away years ago. No children. No close family left. I guess I just became invisible, he said, staring at the ceiling. People don't see you when you're old. Not really. Emily swallowed hard. I saw you, she said. Walter turned his head and looked at her again. Yes, he said. You did. From that day on, Emily started visiting him regularly. At first, it was just small things. Sitting with him. Talking. Bringing him a coffee from the diner. Listening to his stories about the students he used to teach, the lessons he loved, the little moments that made his life meaningful. And slowly, something changed not just in Walter, but in Emily too. She began to feel less alone. Her problems didn't disappear. Life didn't suddenly become easy. But she felt connected. Like her presence mattered in someone else's life in a way she hadn't realized before. One evening, as she was about to leave, Walter reached for her hand. Why do you keep coming back? He asked. Emily thought for a moment. Because someone should, she said. Because you matter. Walter's eyes filled with tears. A few weeks later, Walter was discharged from the hospital. But he had nowhere to go. His apartment had been given up months ago when he couldn't afford rent. Emily couldn't stop thinking about it. She talked to her landlord. It wasn't easy. It took convincing, explaining, even offering to cover a little extra. But eventually, they agreed to let Walter stay temporarily in the small spare room of her apartment. It wasn't much. Just a bed, a window, and a place to feel safe. When Walter stepped into the room for the first time, he looked around slowly, taking it all in. I don't know how to thank you, he said. Emily smiled. You don't have to. But Walter insisted. Over time, he found his way of giving back. He started helping Emily in small ways, cooking simple meals, fixing things around the apartment, even helping her organize her finances with the careful precision of someone who had lived through decades of ups and downs. But more than anything, he gave her something she didn't even know she needed. Perspective. You're doing better than you think, he told her one night. Life isn't a race. It's a series of moments. And you chose a good one. Months passed. What started as a single act of kindness turned into something much bigger, a friendship that neither of them expected, but both deeply needed. And it didn't stop there. Emily's co-workers noticed the change in her. She smiled more. She listened more. She started small acts of kindness at the diner, paying for a customer's coffee, leaving encouraging notes, treating people with a warmth that spread quietly but powerfully. One by one, others followed. A regular customer began bringing extra meals for those in need. A co-worker started volunteering on weekends. Even strangers who came into the diner seemed to leave a little lighter than they arrived. Kindness, it turned out, was contagious. And it all started with one decision. One moment. One person who chose to stop. Years later, Emily would look back on that cold night and realize something important. She thought she had saved Walter. But in many ways, Walter had saved her too. Because kindness doesn't just change the person who receives it. It transforms the person who gives it. So the next time you see someone who needs help, someone who's been overlooked, someone the world seems to have forgotten, stop. Even if it's inconvenient. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if no one else does. Because you never know how one small act of kindness can ripple through lives, creating connections, healing wounds, and reminding us all of what it truly means to be human. And maybe, just maybe, you'll change a life. Including your own.